Welcome to Blaise the Trail podcast, bringing you authentic and vulnerable stories that will inspire you to breathe fire on this world and become your own hero. Here's your host, Blaise Hunter.
Hello, welcome to Blaise the Trail podcast. I'm Blaise Hunter, and I am a fertility expert. No, I don't help people get pregnant. This is a different type of expertise. I actually inspire women to birth their dreams, passions, and goals, as well as discover peace amongst infertility. After going through traumas and tragedies, dealing with a rare disease, and experiencing 3 miscarriages, I decided to take charge of my life and not let life happen to me, but rather become the hero of my own life. I am not barren. I am continually birthing my purpose every day. So that's why I've created this show, to demonstrate how even though we experience setbacks and disappointments, we still have a destiny to birth. We just need to blaze the trail and be expecting. This podcast will inspire you to lean into your problems and allow them to be the vehicle that transports you into becoming the hero of your life so you can breathe fire on this world. This week's topic is leadership is a decision, not a position. And some key points that we'll cover are: what does taking the lead on our life truly mean? How seizing defining moments can launch us into our destiny. And an empowering conference is happening this spring in Alberta for people to be inspired and take the lead on their life. And no one knows leadership better than my friend Corliss Rassyle. Corliss Rassyle is an inspirational speaker, best-selling author, certified leadership coach, event orchestrator, motivation expert, and the founder and CEO of Corliss Co. Consulting, Inc. Corliss has an energy and enthusiasm for life that is contagious. She is a dynamic speaker that leaves the audience feeling like they can do anything. She is purpose-driven and a leader in every sense of the word. She has decades of experience as a successful entrepreneur, where she developed a $21 million business and led a team of more than 3,000 people. Corliss is a certified success principles coach and has been a student of world-renowned leaders such as Tony Robbins, Jack Canfield, Rachel Hollis, and Lewis Howes. Her first book, Lead Your Life: How to Live with Purpose, Passion, and Confidence, is an Amazon bestseller. Her passion for serving others is evident, and her down-to-earth personality connects to the heart, inspiring others to embrace their power to lead. It's not too late to become the person you want to be. You can lead your life, and Corliss can show you how. Welcome, Corliss, to the show.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Blaise.
I am so pumped. It's amazing who you meet along your journey when you decide to follow your purpose and your destiny. I believe that you had one of my friends as a guest on one of your Facebook Lives one day, maybe a year ago, and I was watching, and I reached out because I thought you were so inspirational, and I just loved your energy. And here we are a year later, and you're on my show discussing amazing things about personal growth and leading your life.
Yes, it is. We are all connected. In one way or the other, I believe that we really are. And the right people always show up at the right time. So I'm really grateful to be here. Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. It's just so amazing and empowering to have people in your life that you're inspired by, that help you, that lead you, and just empower you to be a better person. I just love that. So I wanted to, your great bio, everyone knows a little bit about your story now, but maybe we can dive in further a little bit about who you are and your backstory and what actually led you to be a coach to other people and help them lead their lives.
Well, I'd love to share. Thanks again. So I'm really a girl from the farm. So I'm born and raised in small town Saskatchewan, and I was raised with this amazing family and these parents that taught me all these good, wholesome values. But the one thing that I wasn't really ever exposed to as a child was dreaming big. So I got married at an early age. So I was only 19 when I got married. And my big dreams were really to, have that marriage, have the happily ever after story with my 3 children that I did end up having, I fell into a career as an entrepreneur in direct sales. And when I say fell into it, I really mean I did. I hadn't expected that it was going to become a career. I had just started as a temporary kind of moment in my life of make some extra money and decorate my home. But it turned out that I was really good at the business. And as an entrepreneur, I'm not afraid of hard work. I learned that from my parents as farmers. And, you know, the harder I worked and the more people that I connected with, I realized that this was actually going to be my career path instead of just a little hobby. And it served a purpose for me all right from the very first day. You know, from, yes, I made the extra money, and yes, I got to stay home and have a business myself, and yes, I got to challenge myself as an entrepreneur. But what really happened, because I think that when you're an entrepreneur, it's like a personal development course, like crash course actually, because you really have to challenge yourself and you really have to rise up and you have to be willing to learn and you have to push yourself. And that's one of the things that being an entrepreneur had done for me was it really taught me a lot of things, from public speaking to handling rejection to having a vision to setting goals to understanding who I am and what I want out of life. But my initial reasons for starting with the company were a lot different than the reasons that I stayed for 26 years, because I did end up making a lifelong business out of it. So I'm not sure if you want me to go into that, but that's basically where I come from and how it all kind of developed from little girl on the farm to successful multi-million-dollar business owner.
That's fabulous. Yeah, and so I was having a conversation with someone the other day about luck versus destiny. And someone said that they totally believe in luck, and I'm like, I don't know if it's luck or is it favor and defining moments of your life for you to take hold of your destiny. Can you think of a defining moment that led you to become, after transitioning from this sales job and being so successful, to really focusing on personal growth and empowering people in leadership and all of that? Was there a defining moment, or was it just a transition of personal growth for you?
Yeah, there was. And I think that's interesting that you're saying about luck, because my belief system, this is where I've arrived in my life after 40 years old, is that the past doesn't define you. It's really prepared you for what's next. And in my journey, everything that happened from, you know, a little girl on the farm learning the core values of what's most important and just do the right thing and work hard and have faith and family matters, to the young woman who got married and was just trying to raise her family, that fell into a sales career, that then my life completely and totally fell apart when suddenly I found myself divorced and having to restart my life in my 40s with my kids looking to me for direction and stability. And, you know, when I look at each part of the journey, and even my long-standing career and leading all of those people that I had the privilege of working with, when I look at that, I realize that so many of those things that happened in my life, the good times, the bad times, the high points, the low points, all of it happened to prepare me for what I'm supposed to do next. And that's really where my company was born from. When you're in a career like I was, no matter how wonderful it is, when it's decades, when you're decades into it, sometimes you can lose your passion. And I still loved everything that I did. I mean, like I said, instead of it just being a career for me, I felt like it was really a vehicle for me to help people better their lives. So I was focused on that, but I had really kind of tapped out everything I felt like I could do there. So as my kids got independent and, you know, I was faced with restarting my life, like I'm not married anymore, and it's like I have to reinvent myself. And I looked at my career and I'm like, I love it, but it's not the only thing I want to do in my life. So my defining moments were really about hitting the middle stage of life and wondering what the next half of my life was going to look like. I had pretty much kind of achieved what I wanted to achieve, and I was lacking purpose. So as I sat with that and really thought about what's most important to me, I feel like I have a whole lot of life left to live. I kind of connected to the idea that I'm still here and I do have a lot of life to live. And that instead of being sad about the fact that I'm getting older, I more embraced it as this idea that if I were to take all of the experiences and everything that I know from being an entrepreneur and coaching and mentoring people and being a mother to 3 children and being married but then going through the divorce process and all the things that I had learned, the highs and the lows, and I used that to support other people and use that knowledge and wisdom to impact other people and create a difference, then I felt like a new purpose could be born for the next half of my life. And that's really what's happened now, because I feel like the next half of my life is going to be the best half, because now I'm armed with everything I can to support and develop other people and just make a difference.
Oh, I absolutely love that. I love all what you said there, especially about your past doesn't have to define you. And I often say your biography doesn't determine your destiny. But if you lean into the pains and the good times and the wins, then you could really use that as a vehicle, like you said, to transform you and make you the best going forward. Because if the best is behind us, that's pretty depressing. We want to have the best forward. The best days are yet to come. And it's so exciting when people lean into those defining moments rather than let the moment define them. They define the moment. And I really love that you've done that. And I wanted to share a little bit about my defining moment as well, so the listeners really know it happens to everybody. Everybody has a defining moment, and moments all throughout their life. Their destiny moments are coming at them. And sometimes we push snooze on it like an alarm, like, no, I'm not ready for that. I don't feel like that. That's not the right time. But those are destiny moments ringing at you, and the choice is there. Like you said, leadership is a decision. It's your decision to not hit snooze anymore, to actually grab hold of those defining moments and leap into your destiny. And so I'm really inspired by you. And I want to share a little bit, just a little short story of my defining moment of how I transitioned to be an author and a speaker. I had my first miscarriage now it's probably creeping on about 4 years ago. And I was really low, and I've been battling a rare autoimmune disease for the last 14 years. So when I had that miscarriage, it really broke me, like complete grief, depression, feeling like I had no more purpose, that I was going to die, honestly. I was so sick, and I just cried out, and I just said, God, I need a sign that I'm going to be okay, that there's still some hope for my life. And I came across this Facebook post of this woman healing minister going to be appearing in Edmonton, and I was in Bonnyville, which is 3 hours away in Alberta, and I never had heard of her before or seen her or met her, but I recognized her last name, so I Googled her, and I did have a connection with her. Her parents had ministered to a church in Saskatchewan where I grew up, and they left a lasting impact on me. So they have since passed on. Their daughter has taken over the ministry from the States. She was coming to Canada in a few short weeks, and I felt drawn to go. And I said that out there. I put that out there to God, saying, I need a sign. I'm going to go to this service, and I want my sign, God. And I just left it up to that. And I got there, and again, I was loud in my head saying, God, I'll stay in this chair all night if I have to, but I won't leave here without my sign. I was begging for a defining moment that I still had some hope and better days yet to come. And in the middle of this service, this lady stopped the whole service and said, I just need to stop the whole service here. Someone is drawing on me so much, I cannot even continue. And everyone was silent. And she came over to me and looked me straight in the eye and said, God hears your cry. He sees your pain. Your tears will end, joy will come, and you will write a book about it. She walked away and continued on. I was like, oh my God, I think that was my sign. So that was definitely the defining moment that changed the course of my life, that my biography didn't determine my destiny, that I could lean into that pain and birth a new dream and new hope and new purpose for my life. So it's definitely along that same lines with you, that you had moments and you grasped them and leaned into them and birthed a better you. And look at you now. You're on such a road of amazing achievement, amazing self-discovery, amazing empowering others. And that's a true gift to really help the world. So I just appreciate you sharing so I could share my story and really empower others here to take that lead on their life, right?
Absolutely. I love your story. I think that's just, there couldn't have been a clearer sign than that, right?
Right. And I know someone's probably thinking, like, I never get that kind of thing. And, not everyone's going to get that big bam of a moment, but there are these little moments that happen, and it's not luck. I don't think it's luck. I think these glimpses happen, and like I said, we have to seize the day on them and not push the snooze button. So I challenge people out there, like, really tune into what's happening day to day, like who's coming up to you, who's giving you eye contact, who's smiling at you, what's happening throughout the day that you can seize a moment and change the course of your life just by changing how you've been. Maybe you've just been mediocre, and maybe you can share something, be a light to somebody. And I really encourage people, when you're struggling of what your purpose is, serve others. You'll really find purpose in that. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that, and then really, what does leadership mean for you, Corliss? Because I feel like leadership really means for me is being the change, being the leader, and then being the model for that. So I always have a term, I do, we do, you do, with my child, and I feel like that's the best leadership I can do, is I do first, and I pave the way, and I show that I'm being a leader, not just dictating leadership. So what does leadership mean for you, Corliss?
Well, actually, I want to just backtrack just a touch here, because based on what you're saying, that not everybody's going to have that big aha, like blazing sign of like, this is what's happening with intuition. Sometimes we just have to get still and listen to ourselves.
Yeah.
I went to Oprah just a few weeks ago here, and one of the things that Oprah had shared on the stage, I'm a big Oprah fan, and I was listening to her. I mean, there's so many words of wisdom from her, but one of the things that she said is that if you're struggling, the answer's inside. And if you're struggling, it's because from Oprah perspective, and I happen to agree with it, it's that you have the answers, you just have to listen. You're being guided to another direction. And, this is just not a defining moment in my entire life, but just yesterday this happened. I actually just posted about it yesterday on my Facebook page, that for several years now I've been really kind of questioning, my traditional faith that I was raised in, and just not feeling the same passion when I go to, the community church. And I'm not saying this to ask people to look at faith or to believe in anything in particular. I just want to share the story of what happened. So inside of me, I was not feeling the same passion and excitement about it. And I kind of, when that happened, stopped going to church as regularly as I was. And it's been sitting in me for a little while. I've kind of connected more with my spiritual side versus my traditional religion, and I've just been sitting on that for a little while. And while I was sitting on it, I thought, you keep thinking about this. Perhaps it's time you do something about it, because that's what I believe about leadership. I believe that we all have the potential to lead, and we have these little voices that are inside of us, and this intuition that's speaking to us, and we need to act on them, and that's how we become a leader in action. And the best leaders lead by example. So because I know I've been sitting on this for a little while, and I've just been thinking, and it's like, where do I fit with this anymore? Have I kind of evolved? I've kind of gotten complacent and bored. And then I said to my son, who is just turned 13, I said to him, for the next 4 Sundays, we're going to go to a different church. And every day we're going to go all around the city to all different churches we've never been to. And of course, he didn't see the value in that lesson right away, but that's fine, because kids don't always see the value in that. He was more like, I have to go to church 4 times with my mom every Sunday. And I said, you know what, we're going to go and we're going to experience different things. And like I said, I lead my son as well, and I lead by example, and I want to challenge myself, and I want to experience everything. So yesterday we went to our very first church that we've never been to. I was a little bit nervous approaching the door, and as I approached the door, that kind of subsided, because this really friendly man opened the door and said, welcome. And as we walked in, there was an usher, and I said, well, where can we sit? And she said, anywhere you'd like. And we literally walked in to the room, and this heavenly music was playing, and I saw this mom with this toddler on her hip, and she was swaying, singing, kind of dancing to the music a little bit, and it was just so warm and wonderful, and the energy was beautiful. And my son touched my arm and he said, "Mom, this is so different and awesome." And I was just like, there it is. This is what we need to do. We need to listen to the messages that we receive within, and then we need to act on them. And that's what leadership is to me, because at one time leaders used to be only the bosses in office buildings and the leader of a community or a country, but that's not the case anymore. Especially social media and the digital world has changed our world. We each have the opportunity to lead, because lead, the definition, if you look it up, the definition is an example to follow. And because we all have our own media channels now, we all have a way of influencing other people. We get to choose how we show up and how we rise up. I mean, really, leaders exist in our homes. Leaders exist on the playground at school. And leadership is something that is for everyone now, and it's an action. It's not just a position that someone gets promoted to. It's an action. And we can all be leaders by who we are, how we choose we are, how we behave, and the example that we set.
I absolutely love that story. Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, that really flows into what leadership means. And like you said, everybody can do it. You don't have to be a CEO. You don't have to be anybody. You just lead your life and take control and control the narrative and lead it by taking that action, correct? Like, it's not just about, oh, I want to be a leader and a manager. It's being a leader of your life.
It really is. And, when yesterday, so after that experience, I decided I would share the story, because not only am I teaching and leading my son, I also have the opportunity to influence other people. So I shared the story, and other people are sharing it, and other people are saying, "Wow, that's such a great idea. I never thought about doing something like that." And I just really want to, the audience that's listening, I want you to know this isn't about faith. This is not about going to church. It's nothing like that. This is just about, really thinking about what is it that you need to change up to shake up your life, to fully experience things, and then act on those things. Like, you just need to ask yourself those questions, because leadership is a mindset. Leadership is really a way of being. It's like how you choose to see how valuable you are, like as a human being, and then standing in that and showing up to be that every day, everywhere you go, for your family and for your workplace and in your community. I even look at it kind of like, I remember years ago, like, I'm a mother to 3, but my 2 daughters are grown and gone from home. And I remember at one point being so stressed out as a mother. I was just managing so many things, and I had all these difficulties on my plate, and I was juggling everything. And I remember, like, just being always stressed and kind of snapping at my kids and hurrying everything along. And I remember my daughter looking at me, and I remember a defining moment was, this is my kids' memories right now. Mm-hmm. Everything that they remember about how their mom is, I don't want them to remember me this way. I need to make a change. And I made a decision that how I would lead my family was by being more patient, by being more present, by, instead of doing 10 things at once, I would get my work done and then I would shut it off to be present to my family. I would make sure that I did, rejoiceful, had fun times with them, and that we rejoice in small victories. And I just made decisions about how I wanted to lead my family. And that's just one example, but I apply that to my life in every way that I can today. How am I showing up in my work? What kind of example am I for other people? What do I share? Am I positive or am I negative? And each day I literally get up and I have a card. It's this recipe card that is in my journal, and it says, "I am." And then I finish it with words that inspire me. So I am a leader. That's the first one on there. I am a leader, because leader for me speaks to so many aspects of my life and how I want to show up. So I call myself to be a leader.
Oh, fantastic. I love what you just said there, and applying it to how you parent and how you live your life. Exactly. If you're wondering how you can lead, like, look at your children, look at the people in your sphere and be like, how can I be the example in that circle? How can I show up and be present and lead just not just be the leader and take charge. It's being the leader in your life, being the leader in your passion, being the leader of your values and your morals, and just getting up every day and living with purpose and happiness, and showing that, especially for our children. And again, like, I love your defining moments. This is turning into such an amazing show right now, because yes, like, I had that too, where I, about 5 years ago, was staring at my daughter, and she was just about 2 or 3 at the time, and she was sitting there, and I just looked at her like, how am I going to get her, when she's 12 years old, not to think that she's fat, not to think that her beauty is the only definition of her worth. And it just, like, how am I going to get her to be this world changer that we all say the next generation should be, but yet we're sitting there and not living our life, not taking the lead, not taking the action. And I just had that defining moment, that aha, where it clicked. We're like, oh my gosh, the mom has to practice what she preaches. I have to do it. I have to do it so she sees that and models it. And you know what? Just changing my whole course of my career and my path, even this last few years, I watched my daughter go upstairs and steal my phone for a little while. And I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I just want to make a video. And an hour later, I'm like, well, I wonder what video she made on my phone. And I clicked back and I posted it on my Facebook page. So if anyone's wondering, that is my daughter up there. On that Facebook page, she took a 10-minute video and she did a motivational speech. And I clipped part of it because at the end, she's just like hammering the table, going, you've got to try. Just try and try and try and try, and don't give up, and try. And if you're trying to have a baby, you just push it out. And she's taking little language that I'm doing of empowering people to birth their destiny. And my little 6-year-old just totally modeled her mama empowering her life and other people. And that's a proud moment for me that, I've done a lot of wrong things as a parent and as a person. I've got my flaws, but I'm doing something right there. And that was a defining moment. And I just love what you shared there, because it's so true. It's like waking up every moment of every day and saying, I am present and I will lead. And if I fall, I will get back up. And that's how I lead. I never give up, right?
I love it. That's so great. Can't wait to see how your daughter's life transforms. It's so exciting to watch.
Exactly. Same with you. It's just amazing to watch people bloom and really go truly into their destiny. And I just love watching everyone. It's not about me being the best speaker. It's not about you being the best leader. I know it's about us grabbing a hold of each other and saying, let's go. Step into that, right? And I think that's the leadership part, is saying, I got you. Let's go. Take my hand. We've got this together. It's not just I'm going to do this great thing in my life for my purpose. It's to create mankind of purpose, right?
Beautiful. Well, there's an expression, I think it comes from John Maxwell, actually. I'm not certain of that, though, but leadership isn't about your success. It's about how many people you help to be successful. Mm-hmm. And everything that I've done in all aspects of my life, that's really why I know I'm a leader, because that is where my focus is how much can I help and how much can I serve other people and what else can I teach them. When I talked about that defining moment about suddenly realizing, I'm in my 40s, time does not stand still here. I have to, it doesn't stand still. So that moment where I was like, okay, where do I see myself 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Mm-hmm. And I got so excited about the idea that I believe that I'm still here because I'm here to serve a purpose of sharing the experiences and making the world a better place. I think that's why we're all here. We all have this beautiful, brilliant opportunity. And now that I've, kind of transformed from not understanding my worth to starting to see that maybe I have the potential to be this great human. Maybe my life does have purpose, to now going, I'm just going to own it. I'm going to own it, and I'm going to use it for good. That's the kind of leader that I want to be. I want to use what I know to do good and leave our world a better place than I found it.
I love
it
that.
actually makes me choke up. And it's
Absolutely.
just like that's where I stand in who I am, what my company was founded on, and what the rest of my life is going to be about. And it's not that I won't enjoy my own family and my own life and that I don't have my own goals, but the bottom line, the why behind all of it is where when I'm connected to that and I know that that's what this is about, the rest falls to the side. It just does. It's not about me. It's about being of service to other people. And that's the type of leader I choose to be.
Oh, love it. So empowering and inspiring. Thank you so much. Along that lines of you empowering others and going forth, you have this big conference coming up in the spring in Edmonton, Alberta. Can you talk a little bit about that and what's going to happen there?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of freaking out excited about it.
I'm excited too.
So, yeah, it's just going to be so incredible. So basically when, like a couple of years ago, when I started getting really inspired that it was like, hey, what's the next half of my life going to look like? How can I take these experiences and, make the world a better place? I started with small vision board workshops. And then through those workshops, I quickly discovered that people don't even take the time to really think about what they want. So, of course, they're unfulfilled. So then I do these workshops, and then I decided I wanted to create a masterclass so that I could support people in achieving the vision. And then because the masterclass was a big commitment, I thought, how can I get to more people? So I got inspired to not only write my book, but I decided I was going to do these one-day conferences because it would be less of a commitment for people. But my vision was really that we could give them so many great tools and inspiration and connect people in a way to not only what they want, but give them tools that they could leave there and go create it. That I started with these one day. I thought I'll just do one-day conference and then see what happens. It was such a raving success that it ended up going another 5 times after that. So I've held 6 in Saskatchewan. And from the day one, the very first conference, Blaise, honestly, I kept saying to myself, how could we make this better? How could we make this better? And it was hard for me to find anything we could make better. Like it was so good right from day one. But each one got better and better on its own. Mm-hmm. Like it just organically got better and better and more powerful for people. And I've received so many responses and had so many stories of people telling my life changed that day. Like the shift started right there sitting in that chair.
Yeah.
So the decision to expand outside of Saskatchewan was because I want to take that sort of powerful message, that sort of, inspiring event and bring it to more people. So that's where Edmonton was created from. It's the first of the expansion to take it across Canada. So the LEAD conference is what people can expect is this. They can expect real stuff, real people, real advice. There's going to be people sharing stories of how they found the confidence to be more. They're going to hear stories from people who found the courage to really take charge of their own lives. We're going to have, of course, keynote speakers between myself and you. We're going to be sharing from the training aspect of it and delivering our keynotes there as well. But the real specialness of the LEAD conferences is that the people there are all very positive and inspired people that are just really motivated to live to their full potential. And the stage there is really a place for me to take people who are just like you and I, who have found a way and have found the courage to overcome personal obstacles and belief system that isn't serving them anymore, to rise up to become the leader that they're meant to be. And throughout that entire experience, even if people come alone, like I have a committee organized to make sure that no one feels alone. I have a committee organized to make sure and connect people in the room so that people make friends that could literally last for a lifetime. There's going to be a high energy event to it, so this isn't like I might get tired throughout the day. I promise you we have not only the best speakers lined up, but we have so many tools and trainings, but all of the things that are going to make you engaged every moment. I was sharing with someone not that long ago that I want people, the second that they walk in the door, this is the vision, so everyone, you're invited into my vision. From the second that they walk in the door, I want them to know they're in the right place. I want them to feel it. So we're putting things in place to make sure that you feel that immediately walking in the door. Within 5 minutes of entering into the main space, I want you to know that this was the best decision you could have ever made. By lunchtime, I want to have connected you with friends. By afternoon, I want you so engaged in your vision and so connected to the feeling of power that you have within, that you can do anything that you want to do, and that you have the tools in our arm to leave there and do it. I just know what it's going to do for every single person in that room. So I hope you choose to be one of those.
Absolutely. I'm so excited for it. I'm just thrilled to be part of the speaker lineup alongside of you and so many other inspiring world-renowned speakers. So this is really going to be a fantastic show if you're in the Alberta area, if you're in the Prairie provinces, if you're in Canada, if you're around the world and want to take a special trip and come get empowered, get real practical tools on how to apply to your life and lead your life and leave there as a changed person for the positive. I know it's going to be off the charts. I've seen all of your demo videos and of all of your past conferences. You're just such an amazing entrepreneur, Corliss. You are inspiring and you inspire me every day. And I just appreciate you allowing me into this conference and just being able to team up with you and collaborate and really push that forward to inspire others. And if people are interested, where do they get tickets? Is there any special deals on? When do they expire? Just tell everyone how they can get in on this conference.
Sure. Yeah. Actually, I think this podcast is going to air while the early bird is still on. So Everyone has a very good opportunity right now. So the early bird pricing is on until March 5th. They can go to Eventbrite, of course, or they can go to my website, corliss.ca. However, I really believe that this kind of experience is better with friends. So I've actually created the Better with Friends package. The Better with Friends package works like this, whereas you get the lowest price if you come as a group of 4. So you get preferred reserved seating for your group of 4. It is the lowest price, even lower than early bird individual ticket, and you're all seated together to experience the conference together. So it's called Better with Friends. There is, of course, VIP seating as well, where you get front row, you get lunch, you get a swag bag, you get a photo with me. The VIP luncheon is going to be so great because we've got a very special plan for that. So there's also the VIP tickets as well. So no matter what, it doesn't matter where you live, get on a plane and invest in yourself and come to it. I say that with great confidence because I know the results of this conference for people. I've seen it now 6 different times with the Saskatchewan conferences, and I know that Edmonton is going to be kind of a whole next level of it. So I really want to invite you to be there and consider investing in yourself. You deserve it.
Absolutely. And it's Saturday, May the 2nd, 2020, the Oasis Center in Edmonton, Alberta, all day there. Again, for more information, go to Corliss.ca, Corliss.ca. I'm just so excited. I'm inviting everybody I know. I'm telling you, your life is going to be changed. And who doesn't want to be empowered? We go through so many things in our day-to-day activities in life that challenge us, that suck energy out of us. Let's actually take action and go to something that fuels us, that fills our cup back up, so then we can go take on those days and really take the lead of our lives, not in a minus column, but in the plus column, because we're getting refueled and empowered again. And just an amazing event. And it's for men and women. Don't exclude the men out there because it is for everyone, right, Corliss?
Yes, it is. Actually, I just had that question asked of me today, who should come to the conference? Well, I believe that because leading is about being an example, right? I believe that everyone, right from, the teenager, I've had teenagers at the conferences and they have so much great feedback. So it's you could come and bring your teenage daughters or sons if you want to expose them to dreaming bigger and understanding their limits, and why not expose them even at a young age? And then of course there's the person who could be a more senior person that is trying to understand what the rest of their life is going to be about, and everyone in between. I mean, everybody has the potential to lead, and everybody goes through challenges, everybody has a belief system, and everybody could use this sort of personal development. I don't believe it's just for one person or another. Now the other thing too is as a career-minded person, I have this idea that professional development is obviously extremely important. I mean, you need to be able to, better yourself as a professional. But the difference between professional development, that type of PD, and PD, meaning personal development, is that when you develop the person, whether you're the business owner or the person that's leading a group in your workplace, when you develop the person goes to their workplace. So personal development, that type of PD is as important as the other type. And if you agree with me, then you need to be in the seat at that lead conference, because that's the kind of person that we're going to be speaking to there.
Oh, fantastic. So if anyone, again, wants information from you about this conference in Alberta, or if they want some coaching advice or you to speak at their event, and I know so you're working on a podcast as well, so where can people go to get a hold of you, and what are your next steps here?
Well, very exciting that my keynote overview is actually just available just last week. So it's at corlissrassyle.com. So I'll spell that for you, Corliss, and then RASSYLE.com. So you will see a clip of my videos there and past conferences. You'll see my keynote overviews. For tickets, you can go to eventbrite.ca, and it's the lead conference in Edmonton. And, of course, everything else, if you just want to connect with me, then it's corliss.ca, corliss.ca. Thanks so much, Blaise.
Okay, before we wrap up here, I just wanted to ask you one question of what inspires you?
That's such a great question. I love those kinds of questions because when I'm listening to other leaders share their stories, I like to know, what can I take? What's tangible, practical advice that I can take and use for my own life? And here's what I'd like to leave people with. I would love it if you would do what I do, because this really, truly inspires me. I have a big goal and a big vision for my life. Even creating a vision board is just so powerful, because it's it helps you pull together, what do I want my life to look like? But sometimes that can seem so far in the future. So have that. But achieving is what inspires me, achieving. So the small wins. So it's every day, if you get up and you set a small win goal that makes you closer, gets you closer to your big vision, you're going to feel a sense of achievement, and you're going to feel like you can take on a bigger goal the next time. So it's having those small daily goals, those small weekly goals, so that you can feel a sense of achievement, and it'll just re-inspire you over and over again. And I know it's something that has worked for me for so many years as an entrepreneur. It just helps me stay the course, but also encourages me to keep going, because I feel a sense of achievement, because I have a small win, a small victory that I can say, hey, I'm actually doing this. So that's the first thing. The second thing is get around people who are going to inspire you. Get around people who are just like you, that are doing it, people who are truly leading their lives, people who are achieving what you want to achieve. So put yourself in a space, whether it be listening to podcasts like this, going to a conference like the LEAD conference, reading a book, wherever it is, there's just a whole bunch of ways that you can do it. But get yourself around people who you relate to, who are doing it, who are achieving, and they will inspire you that you can do it as well.
Oh, thank you for coming on and really having that open dialogue with me about defining moments, taking the lead on our life. What does leadership mean? How can we be part of this amazing conference in Edmonton that I'll also be speaking at? So please, just if you're looking at trying to empower yourself and take a different course of action, even if it's just a step in the right direction of your purpose and your destiny, please come to this conference in Edmonton, or get a hold of either one of us, whether it's Corliss or myself, and just let's take steps together to empower ourselves. So thanks so much, Corliss, for joining us on our show. If you want to subscribe or support this podcast, please visit my website, blaisehunter.com, and then we can be the heroes of our lives together and breathe some serious fire. That's it for this week's episode. Challenge yourself to take the lead on your life and lean into those problems and those issues going on in your life, so you can be reflective and rise up as the hero of your life together with me. Thanks for listening. I'm Blaise Hunter.
You've been listening to Blaze the Trail with Blaise Hunter. To learn more about how you can breathe fire and unleash the hero within, or to listen to past episodes, visit blaisehunter.com.